Okay, I think we'll get started as not to delay any further. So my name is Laura Egan O'Brien. I'm the Marketing Manager for the College of Engineering and Architecture here in UCD. I'm going to be your host for the webinar today, and you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is the 7th webinar in our Talk Graduate virtual event series that we've had on this week. And today's webinar is all about the specific programs, the Masters in Engineering Management, MEM. It's our 2-year part-time program, and also our professional diploma in Operations Excellence, OpEx. So you will get a chance to hear from the program director for both of these, Dr. Vincent Hardigan. You'll also get a chance to hear from Joanna, who's with us from the Advanced Centre, if you're looking to take any of these kind of things in an individual module basis. And then also you'll get more of a student experience. We have 2 of our current students for the MEM, Donal and Circa. You'll get a chance to hear about their journey and their thoughts on the program as well. Some housekeeping before we get started. So the program or the webinar is being recorded. So if you missed anything or you know of any potential colleagues or other people that would be interested in the content today but actually couldn't make it, you will get a chance to have a recording of the link sent to you via email from myself early next week, and it'll be put up on our YouTube channel. My colleague Katie is also joining us today, and I might ask her to pop a link to our YouTube channel in the chat so you can grab it there. But as I said, you will get an email from me early next week on it also. And then if you have any questions for any of our participants today, you can ask them using the Q&A button, which is located in the control panel at the bottom of your screen. Type your questions in there as they come to you, but we'll leave it towards the end of the session today to actually get through as many questions as we can in the time that we have available to us. And then lastly, you would have received an email from myself earlier this week, just in relation to the link to join the webinar today. But actually within that email, you would have also got a link to our event landing page. There's lots of useful information there if you haven't had a chance to check it out. Things like our brochures for our programs, the UCD virtual campus tour if you've never got a chance to come to campus. Also things like our academic showcase, our alumni showcase. So you'll get a real flavour of what the college and our programs and our schools within our college have to offer. So check that out if you can, and my colleague's going to pop a link to that in the chat as well. So that's really all from me. I'm going to hand over now to our program director, Dr. Vincent Hardigan.
Thanks, Laura. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this virtual information session about our part-time programs in engineering management, specifically the 2-year Master of Engineering Management and our shorter professional diploma in Operations Excellence. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what the program entails, its structure, things like scheduling, timetabling, that kind of thing. And then you'll hear later on from Circa and Donal, who are current students on the MEM program, about their specific experiences of, choosing the program and how they have found the program so far. So the MEM program, our Master of Engineering Management program, it takes 2 academic years, but really it's 4 semesters, and it's taken on a part-time basis. So all our students have industry experience. They're based in industry working full-time, so they undertake this program on a part-time basis. It's worth 90 credits. So in UCD, we use the ECTS system, the European Credit Transfer System, as a way of weighting our modules. So that means you take either 4 or 5 modules per semester. Okay, so you take 18 modules in total over the 2 academic years. The program starts in September every year, so we just do 1 intake per year. The professional diploma in Operations Excellence, that's shorter. It's 1 academic year, so 2 semesters. And again, it's a part-time basis. You take 4 modules in total, 2 modules per semester, so 20 credits. So the workload is quite light, much lighter compared to the full master's program. We give you the option. You can start in September and do September and January semesters, or you can start in January and do January and the following September semester. So it's 2 semesters with that flexible start. Okay, so give you a brief overview of the MEM program. So what is it? Well, it's a 2-year part-time master's level program, and it's been running quite a long time. First intake was in 1967, formerly known as the Master of Industrial Engineering. And we had our first graduates in 1969. And the program has run consistently ever since. Now, obviously, the content has evolved over the decades as industry needs have evolved and, new themes and new emphasis have arisen. But, the core purpose of the program has really remained the same. What we have done in the last 2 years, really out of our learnings during the COVID period, is we have converted the program into being a blended delivery. And you'll hear from Soraka and Donal about their experiences of the blended delivery. And what that means in practice is you're going to be on campus for four Fridays per term, once every 4 weeks. And then the intervening weeks, you'll do lectures online, live online on Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings. So you have 4 Fridays on campus, one every 4 weeks, and then the intervening weeks are online. And that adds up to 12 teaching weekends per term. So if you think of it as, a 2-year commitment, or actually it's 12 teaching weekends per term. So 24 weeks per year. Who is it for? So what's the audience for this program? And if you're thinking about applying for the program, well, are you eligible to apply for the program? We're looking for engineers that have a minimum of 5 years industry experience. Now, a lot of our participants actually have quite a lot more than that. Now, do you have to have an engineering degree? Not strictly speaking. We also accept applicants from a wider STEM background. So if you have a degree in physics, chemistry, computer science, software engineering, and are working in an engineering type role, then yeah, you would be eligible to apply. And really, people undertake this program because they have the ambition to progress to senior engineering leadership roles. So what are you going to learn? Well, you're going to learn how to communicate confidently in the language of business. So all our participants are really strong on their technical discipline. But what they're finding is that as they gain more experience, they're actually moving more into people and managerial roles. But they find that there's a gap in their knowledge, that their undergraduate bachelor's was very strong on the technical domain, but tended to lack in the kind of the managerial people skills domain. And you're, at this stage in your career, you're starting to work maybe more closely with, finance director, human resources, marketing, strategy development, and they tend to speak a different language that you don't really understand. So what we're doing is we're topping up your detailed technical knowledge with that business acumen. You'll learn strong decision-making skills, particularly in the area of engineering operations, whether it's within a manufacturing, a service environment, or a semi-state public environment. You look at leadership. How do you lead and motivate people? And also, how do you influence the future direction of your company in terms of developing strategic thinking skills? Okay, so how will you learn? So really the people who deliver the program, the staff and the faculty, they come from engineering, they come from the business school. And also we have a number of senior industry practitioners who bring that practice base to deliver some of our modules. You're also going to learn from peers in the class across multiple sectors and company types. And I'll show you some examples of companies that have sent participants on the program over the last few years. You're going to also learn in an active environment. So you'll do industry-based assignments. So we try and keep a lot of the assignments, as much assignments as possible, relevant to your role in industry, so you can add some value to your company. You'll do case studies, you'll do business simulations. And also, because you're continuing in work in a full-time manner, it gives you the opportunity to apply your learning in an action manner. So you can apply your new knowledge quickly in a real-world environment. Some of the more common, frequently asked questions, and we'll delve into questions towards the end of the webinar, but some of just maybe to anticipate a couple of questions early on that tend to crop up. Are there many exams? And what's the kind of division between continuous assessment and final exams? There's a high proportion of continuous assessment, and that can be group or individual right across all the modules. There's relatively few final exams. I think even, Donal and Soraka will probably be able to confirm this, but I don't think in their current semester that they have any final exams this semester, for instance, out of the 5 modules. Another common question is, do I have to do a thesis? Do I have to do a research project? The answer is it's optional in year 2. And we get on average 1 or 2 students every year selecting that. So what that allows you to do is, what you can do is you can drop 2 modules in autumn and 2 modules in spring of year 2 and do an applied company project instead. So you have to find a research project in your own company. So thesis is not mandatory, it's an option. So the way the program is structured, it's really structured around 5 major themes. Now, the history of the program was very much focused around engineering operations. So we do things like project management, quality management, Lean Six Sigma, operations management, business system design, which is around process modeling, process change, process redesign. Data analytics, big data has become a hot topic in the last few years. So we started to introduce some modules in that, but it's really data analytics for decision makers or data analytics for managers. And you also do modules on decision analysis. How do you go about multi-criteria decision making when all the information is messy? There's a core number of modules from the business school around cost analysis, marketing, finance, and economics. I suppose one of the areas where a lot of our participants gain a lot of information from, a lot of learning from, is the people team. So around behavior, leadership and change, human resources, employee relations, managing negotiations, technical communications. And then in the second year, we do a lot on strategic thinking. So how can you influence the future direction of your company around operation strategy, design, strategic management, corporate entrepreneurship. And the list of modules in red there, the 4 red modules, they're the modules that are also delivered on the professional diploma in operations excellence. Just to briefly give you an idea of the program structure, you do 4 modules in autumn of year 1, and you do 5 modules in spring of year 1. And then it's mirrored again in year 2, 4 modules in autumn of year 2, 5 modules in spring of year 2. And in year 2, if you choose the applied research project, that is a 2-term module. So you start it in September and you finish it in April. Give you an idea of the types of companies that our participants have been based in over the last few years. Now, this is just a snapshot. And really, if you were to look at the profile of participants, it tends to break down into about 1/3 of our participants come from the manufacturing engineering sector. And that could be multinational companies or small, medium enterprises. Another 1/3 of our participants come from engineering services companies. So that could be engineering design and consultancy type organizations. And then the final 1/3 often come from what you might call the public and the semi-state sector. So that could be from engineering roles in local authorities, Office of Public Works, some of the semi-state utility companies, or some of those who have engineering technical roles in some of the regulatory agencies. So the mix is quite diverse, and that's really where a lot of the learning comes from, that you're not just talking to peers, let's say, within the medical device sector. Somebody from the medical device sector is talking to somebody from the IT sector who's talking to somebody from energy generation. And there's a lot of cross-learning with that type of background in the class. And then just briefly to give you a sense of the calendar for the incoming year. So if you apply to the program, you will start in September, on the 15th of September, with an introduction and orientation. And then the 12 weeks teaching go from the 15th of September to the 2nd of December. And week one, so Friday the 15th of September is on campus. And then the week 4, 8, and 12 after that will also be on campus. Within the intervening weeks will be live online. And then the spring term, so next January, you'll start on the 26th of January on campus, and you'll go to the 27th of April. So really kind of give you a sense of where we are right now. This coming weekend is week 11 in the program. And then our 2 years, our first years and second years, will be back on campus on Friday week for the final teaching weekend of the semester. And also just to point out that between April, May of year 1 and September of year 2, there's no activity during the summer period. Okay. And just in terms of the delivery, we're delivering the program now in a blended format with the 4 Fridays per term on campus. So those Fridays tend to start at 9 or 10 a.m. and go through to 6 or 7 p.m. And that's weeks 1, 4, 8, and 12. And we can give you if anybody's interested and wants to follow up, we can give you the specific dates now or afterwards for those. And then the 8 intervening weeks are online, and that material is delivered live, and it can also be recorded. And that takes place later on Friday afternoons and also on Saturday mornings. And then just to mention the professional diploma in operations excellence, to come back to that, that is really a subset of the Master of Engineering Management. So our students take 4 modules from the MEM program in the autumn. If you start in September, you'll take operations management and decision analysis. and then you'll go through to January and you'll take quality management, Lean Six Sigma and business system design. If you decide to start in January, well, then you start with quality management, business system design, and then you follow on to operations management and decision analysis the following September. So the modules on the OpEx professional diploma, they follow the MEM program format, 4 weeks on campus, 8 weeks online. So that's giving you an overview of what the MEM program is about. If anybody has any follow-up queries after this webinar, you can contact myself or Laura or Katie directly, and we'd be happy to discuss your questions in more detail. And we're currently, our online application system is open, and we turn those applications around very quickly, so you'll get a decision on your admission within a couple of days of submitting your application. Okay, so I'll hand over to Laura, and she's going to introduce Johanna from our Advanced Centre, and then you'll hear from Sorika and Donal as student participants.
Great, thanks so much, Vincent. Very comprehensive overview of both those programs and some really good information specifically for people who are looking for part-time programs and how to manage that within the working environment. So yeah, next up we have is Johanna from the Advanced Centre, and she's going to explain a little bit about what they're about.
Thanks, Laura. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joanna Kozielec. I'm a Centre Manager in Advanced Centre in UCD. So I'm delighted to be here on behalf of the Advanced Centre. We work very closely with the College of Engineering and Architecture to support their fully support their mission of educating the next generation of graduates and to provide them with the great career opportunities. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you information about what the Advanced Centre does and talk a little bit about the benefits of taking individual modules. As a word of introduction, the Centre, the Advanced Centre, is a collaboration project between 3 institutions: UCD, ATU Sligo, formerly known as IT Sligo, and TU Dublin. It was founded in 2020 in response to government call for proposal for projects to enhance innovation and agility in response to future skills needs. Our key selling points are flexible, high-quality, industry-relevant accredited courses in the area of digital transformation. We focus on upskilling professionals by offering flexible study, but also in-company bespoke programs can be set up with us as a part of the CPD bigger program. We cover 2 courses admissions in September and January. And there are 11 thematic areas running across the Advanced Centre in 3 institutions. We work very closely with 16 industry partners, just to name a few, like Microsoft, Medtronic, IBM, Stryker, Intel. So our guiding principle is to deliver flexible courses in digital transformation. And the course catalog in Advanced Centre is organized in 11 themes, and obviously we're discussing as a part of that webinar digital manufacturing, and Vincent gave a great overview of 2 programs that fall under the umbrella of Advanced as well. In addition to that, we have obviously 10 other teams, and there's over 150 modules and 25 programs delivered through the Advanced Centre with collaboration of 3 institutions. The delivery mode is on campus, it's blended or fully online. So with the Advanced Centre, professional learners have now an option to take individual modules. So depending when you are in your career, you can now take a single module, which lasts up to 12 weeks. And it's part of the professional diploma in operational excellence, or if you would like to commit to the longer program in future, you can take it as a part of the master's. But that's the additional option that hasn't been available before, that we've introduced and allow that mechanism through the Advanced Centre. So what are the benefits of of taking modular learning. Quite often you might hear as well words micro-credentials. So there are many benefits of taking single module approach. So from the enterprise point of view, you close the skill gaps and improve enterprise productivity. You meet emerging enterprise needs and trends. You help the career development and progression for your employees. You also allow to expand existing professional development programs, enhance staff retention and improve recruitment. And more recently, especially after the COVID, we taking shorter programs, shorter courses, also address the pandemic-related job impact. Then for the individual, taking flexible courses allow you to fit around the work and personal commitments. The other benefits is obviously that they are accredited by leading universities, the quality is assured, you can boost your career progression or indeed change your career. And they tailored towards your personal interests and goals. And by taking single modules, you can stay ahead of emerging trends and industry advancements. So if you are an employer and you're thinking about development of your staff, usually it starts with the management plan. So you identify the skill gap you might have in your workplace, whether it's in management or in data analytics. Then you select relevant course and assess the learning commitments. The plan is usually reviewed annually. And the next, you link the staff skills to position and profile to plan training and development. And a flexible learning pathway allow you to choose studying in your own pace. So that's the biggest advantage of it. So you might want to start with taking single modules and then over the time progress to certificate or diploma or masters, speaking about the other teams, or with the example of digital manufacturing, you could progress to professional diploma or the master. So the flexible learning pathway also allow you to mix the modules from different themes. So that's applicable for other courses as well. And everything is obviously has the brand recognition. So if you take modules in UCD, you will be graduated with, you will be completing a module with UCD. So in nutshell, just to wrap up what I've been talking about for the last few minutes, what can we do? What can Advance do for you? So we can offer you accredited courses, short courses, modules, flexible study options, which obviously is very applicable to a lot of professionals who are very busy in their workplace. So they can attend less on campus, but also study online through the mixture of delivery online and on campus. We allow the award progression, link very directly with universities, programs and staff, and also give you opportunity to tailor the content for the industry. It gives opportunity to tailor the content towards company needs. If anybody has any questions, we very happy to answer a lot of your questions, and happy to work with anybody who is interested to find out a little bit more. The email address is info@advancedcenter.ie, and below is the address for the website. I'm looking forward to any questions that you might have. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much, Joanna. Really good information there on the Advanced Centre. So next up we have as a speaker is one of our current students for the MEM. So Sorka, you're up if you want to talk us through your journey and your experience so far.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Hi, everyone. So yeah, my name is Sorka. I qualified as a mechanical engineer in 2018 from DIT and now TUD, and I currently work at Google as a mechanical facilities engineer. So I've been thinking about doing a master's really since I finished my undergrad, but I wasn't sure what route to take and just wanted to get some experience first before I decided. My current role revolves around managing resources and people at a project level, but there's potential for me to grow into a department manager in the near future. Before diving into this management opportunity, I really wanted to improve my understanding of how to manage just in various different environments and situations. So I looked around for a good while at different master's programs, and this MEM fitted in with my work schedule and really seemed to touch on all the areas of management that I had an interest in. I'm not going to lie, it's a tough course and it can be very challenging at times. However, one thing I will say is that my course mates and I have gelled really well, and working together has really helped along the way. There's a really good support network there between us. Everyone on the course is motivated, and as Vincent was saying, we're all from different industries, and collaborating has allowed me to really get another point of view on certain things, and it's been really interesting and beneficial for my own thinking and my own self-development. The online and in-person learning split has been ideal while working full-time. Still allows for all of us on the course to integrate and to get to know each other. And to follow on from Vincent's mention of the exam, we had one exam in our first semester, and we won't have another until our final semester out of the 4, which we are all delighted about. The course has definitely a wide range of topics, as Vincent went through, and the lectures are really excellent and approachable. For me though, although engineering topics are obviously very interesting, the biggest gap for me was around the HR related learnings, and I found that they've had like the most impact on me. And coming from an engineering background, that probably isn't surprising that there's a bit of a gap there. So yeah, as I was saying, I plan to go into a management role in the next 5 years, and this master's has definitely got me on the right track to get there. And I'll be open to answering any questions at the end if you have them.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sorka. So our next student speaker we have up is Donal, and again, he's doing the part-time program MEM. Sorry, Donal, there, you're just on mute.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Thank you.
I have some technical problems today. Thanks very much, Laura. As Sorka mentioned, you know, that this is, I'll give you a little bit of my background just very briefly. I originally would have come from an engineering background, industrial engineering, qualifying about 30 odd years ago. So going back a little bit further than a lot of people that might be on the program. And then more recently, probably about 15 years ago, with different changes that I had in my career path, I also did an undergraduate in, you know, business and people management. So this opportunity and learning styles and learning methods have changed quite a lot over those years. So I've always said I wanted to do the masters at some stage for myself and for, you know, for career opportunities. And just kept putting it off, and life gets in the way, and I just kept putting it off. So what I would say is there's no time better than today to do it. You won't find a better time in the future to go ahead and to start this. So if you've started the first step and looking at it, I'd strongly encourage you looking harder and getting involved. Why I chose the MEM program was, you know, as Vincent and Sorka had mentioned, there's such a diverse breakout in the different modules and what you can learn from them. Everything that we've done has been a shock to me how much I've learned from it when you think that you've been in industry for many years, but yet there was other opportunities to learning. The other ones, you know, I thought that the excellent support that we've got from Dr. Vincent Hardigan and the program team, always there right through when we were even making the decisions about getting involved, even through to their availability and support throughout the first year of this program has been excellent. As I mentioned, the modules, there's a good breakdown in them. And there's also an excellent balance in the way that the appraisal process, as Sorka mentioned, you know, we had that exam, you know, the first trimester, and then we'll have the next major exams at the end of next year. But the workload, as Sorka mentioned, is still big, so I don't think anybody should underestimate it, but it's doable. Everybody gets on with it. It's broken out, it's timed to try to not kill you all in one go, but it is a good workload. It's not a soft option. They won't give you a master's for nothing, so you need to know that you're coming into this to do a little bit of work. The lecturers have been excellent quality. The standard of the lecturers, their knowledge, their mixture of both, the industry and also from the different institutes that they've worked with and are working with today still. Very, as Sorka mentioned, very approachable. It's been, very pleasant how easily it is to approach them, how easy it is to contact them, and how open they are to giving direct feedback. The size of the class, it's a reasonable small class, so that has also helped. But even in some of the modules that we did in the first trimester, you're in with a bigger bunch from other classes, and that too, they've been very helpful and very willing to facilitate direct contact. The group projects then was, is always going to be a little bit different. You're working with multiple different people. You've got to get different times, but that really, as Sorka mentioned, that helps getting the team to gel together and work together. It's been fantastic to be able to, meet different people from all the different industry and all different experience levels throughout. And each of us learning from each other with, as we go along, and helping, encouraging each other. The practical learnings, some of them are very simple, some of these practical learnings, and some of them are a little bit more complex, but there's practical learnings throughout the class as well, that regardless of what experience level we think we have, we're still picking things up in those sessions. And actually, it's a little bit like, in some cases, teaching somebody to drive that's been driving for years is not always that easy because they've got bad habits. There's some good, resetting that happens here with regards to some of the modules. And then again, as Sorka mentioned, the team gelling together. I've never seen a team gel together so well, so fast, as the current team for the first years. Absolutely fantastic. The support, everybody is willing to support each other, help each other. Somebody doesn't understand something, they just have to reach out, and everybody is helping. And even the smaller teams, then you'll find that you end up actually linking in with those, helping, coaching and getting coached on those as well. So overall, an absolutely excellent experience, and strongly recommend it. So, and like Sorka said, I'll take any questions at the end there when they're going.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Donal. Thank you to all our speakers for giving us an insight into the courses and what they have to offer and the student experience. So now we're going to open it up to our attendees for a bit of a Q&A. If there's any questions people want to get answered today, now's the time to get them answered. So you can type them in, as I mentioned before, using the Q&A button, which is located in the control panel at the bottom of your screen. Type your questions in there and we'll get through as many as we can. And I do know that my colleague Katie got some private messages as well, so I'm going to go through some of the questions that she would have received as well. So let me just see. So I think the first question is for Vincent. So we have a student trying to decide between an MBA and this program, and can you maybe touch on the key differences or advantages of doing maybe the MEM over the MBA?
Yep, and maybe Donal or Sorka might speak to that as well, that maybe when they were evaluating the MEM, during their application process, that maybe they considered the MBA and why they went with the MEM. But I suppose from a program director, program design point of view, we're very much focused on people who want to progress within the engineering sector. And that is really the core principle and the way we design the program. We do cover a lot of the modules that you would do on an MBA, like finance, strategy, HR, negotiations and so on, but we probably do more in the engineering operations element, like operations strategy, operations management, quality management, business process design, that you wouldn't cover in an MBA. You would probably do more strategy modules and more finance modules on an MBA compared to the MEM. So really the key difference would be that emphasis on everybody who takes the MEM is really, I suppose, committed to progressing their career within an engineering environment, and we designed the program around that, while at the same time giving them the sufficient knowledge that they need, to become that senior leader, but within an engineering environment. Whereas sometimes maybe in an MBA, that tends to get diluted, that, it's a more general audience, that you would have, people from finance, HR, marketing, operations, and so on. So you don't get that same level of emphasis that you would get in the MEM.
Brilliant. And then Donal or Sorka, I don't know if you were considering an MBA and maybe why you chose the MEM instead.
Yeah, I would have looked at it as well, and saw, similar to what Vincent was saying there, the reasons would have been because it was a little bit more structured towards the type of role that I would have been in at the time. And definitely that would have been the reason. Plus, I think one of the benefits that I see now that I'm there is, you're doing this with people that are in a similar background, albeit in different industries, similar frame of mind and similar attitudes, similar, types of challenges that they've come across. So definitely from that perspective, that was why I went for the MEM.
Brilliant. And Sorka, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I was actually really close to doing an MBA until I spoke to two people who had done them, and I'm in a data center operations team, and they told me that, so I was speaking to my manager as well, and it's not just management that I'd be going into. You still need that operations theory. You still need to be heavily involved with what's going on day to day. And I just felt, after reviewing the modules and speaking to the MBA, I wouldn't really get that all round for the role that I was going to go into. And so the MEM has engineering throughout. So it was definitely what pulled me in towards the MEM.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. The balance seems like the kind of key selling point for people who might choose one over the other. So Vincent, another question that came in, you kind of touched upon it a little bit in your presentation, that the thesis or dissertation part is an optional thing. Is there an advantage or disadvantage, or maybe why someone would choose to do the applied company project over not doing it?
Yeah, so I said we have an average 1 to 2 students every year who choose this option. I think some people are often deterred or put off from doing a thesis, that it's a daunting thing, that, and particularly it's run from September to April. And then when they look at the modules that they have to drop, they're thinking, well, this is, a chance in a lifetime to do these modules. When will I ever get these modules again, when I could do a project in my company, maybe at any time. And sometimes people are turned off by a thesis or a research project, can grow legs. It has, maybe its scope isn't quite as easy to find, whereas a taught module starts in week 1, finishes in week 12, has a number of assignments, you're done. But then on the other hand, some people will do it, that they're better able to manage their workload. So that, not having to do two modules, having the flexibility to drop 2 modules in autumn and 2 modules in spring. And as Donal and as Sorka said, it is a reasonably high workload if you take all the modules, whereas, you can manage a thesis, applied research project more at your own pace, and have less, emphasis on maybe specific deadlines.
Okay, great. That's perfect. And then Donal and Sorka, I don't know if you were considering doing that project, or you were kind of set on doing the modules, and maybe why you chose that decision.
Yeah, we haven't had to actually make the final decision on that yet ourselves, but I would be, one of the challenges that you will have be depending on finding the right one. And I suppose one of the benefits would be, if you do find the right one, your company gain from it, and typically will gain something, really, really good. But the challenge is if there's, a lot of heavy IP concerns within your company with regards to information that you will be able to write about anyway, and document, that will be something that you'll have to weigh up there.
Perfect. And Sorka, yourself?
Mainly just what Vincent said, that all the modules are kind of hand chosen to give you that all-rounded kind of readiness for management, or kind of overview of management. And I just wouldn't want to feel like I was missing out on a section that could help me further in my career for, like Vincent said, a project that you could end up doing eventually in work anyway. So
Yeah.
that's the main reason why.
No, that makes sense. And then Vincent, what would be the typical class size within the MEM?
Yeah, so in Sir Donald's class, this year we have 11 students. So we try and aim for mid-teens would be our our ideal to 20 in terms of kind of our recruitment targets. And with that size, we're able to keep it in that kind of seminar open discussion format, whereas you're not lost in a larger lecture theatre.
Yeah, and then you also mentioned that there's a wide variety of levels that people are coming in with, or years of experience that they're coming in. Is there a sweet spot for people applying for the program where they should have a number of years of experience, but maybe not too much or something like that?
Yeah, it's I mean, if you want to take, I suppose Sorka and Donald both described their own kind of backgrounds, and would be a good example of the type of profile of people that we get on the program. So somebody with some years experience, some people with a lot of years experience and wanting to come back and achieve the ambition of getting a master's. I'd say on average the class age is probably early 30s. So what we do have that stipulation of the minimum years of experience. By the time you do those years of experience and start getting into that role where you feel, okay, I need that additional qualification to help me better manage my people, or manage the team or lead people better, you're probably heading into maybe the 7 to 10 year post bachelor's experience. So that would probably be early to mid 30s.
Okay, great. And then for Donald and Sorka, I think we have time for one more question. It was just around obviously finding a balance between study and work. And did you find the structure of the program was kind of allowing you to do that? And was your company supportive in the time commitment that you would need for the MEM?
Well, I'll answer that first. So I suppose my situation has changed over this period, but I definitely, for the first trimester, my company were extremely flexible and very supportive. And I think actually one of the big benefits is they saw they were actually getting things out of this. Some of the payback comes straight away from this. Even the technical communications classes, things like that, the data analytics, whatever it is, they're getting something back. And once you can show the company that they're given something back, and they're going to get back, they're going to be even more supportive and encouraging of it. So it is something that, as Vincent outlined the times, I think people need to go into this with an open mind, know what they have there, and come up with whether it's a flexible work plan with their boss, to make sure that that they can still achieve what they need to. But it's it is a growing, so it is something that needs to have that discussion, does have that support. But yes, companies, and I've seen with everybody else, it does look like all the companies on the team seem to be supporting, because they're probably getting the same gain.
Yeah, brilliant. That's great to hear. And Sorka, did you find it was easy to balance the two?
Yeah, my manager is like super supportive of it. And I just had a conversation with him before I started, and just like Vincent had all of the kind of class times when we needed to be on site. That was already for us well in advance. So once I sat down with my manager and just planned it out, there's been absolutely no issues. And just if you kind of like manage time properly, the assignments, they're grand. Like there is a lot of work in them, but if just the time management, I think, would be an important factor, definitely. But loads of support, and I think that's, like Donald said, that's kind of key to you doing well in this as well, and just having enough time.
Great, that's brilliant to hear. So we've come to the end of our webinar. That's all the open questions that we had. Thank you very much to our presenters, our speakers for joining us today, and to our attendees for listening in. Just to say that, yeah, this session is recorded. I mentioned at the start, it'll be available on our YouTube channel early next week. If you did want to share it with any of your colleagues, that'll be available for you. And then also my colleague Katie's just popping her email address and my email address in the chat there, that if you have any further questions after today, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to get those answers to you via email, or we can set up a one-to-one call if that's necessary as well. But thank you so much again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.